this next conversation is all about potential, what it means, how we grow it, and how sport reveals it, truly as the great unifier. So to explore these ideas, I am delighted to say that I am joined by three outstanding voices. Dr. Athena Michaelidou, Minister of Education in Cyprus, Minister for Sport and Youth, and a visionary, might I say, at the intersection of education and policy. Hamad Al-Balawi, advisor at the Ministry of Sport and former CEO of Saudi Arabia's World Cup 2034 bid, with deep insight as to how sport contributes to national ambition and transformation. And Ralph Rivera, whose leadership in global sport, media and technology has shaped organizations from the BBC to Eurosport and continues to influence the digital future of performance. Welcome to all of you. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today. So I'd like to pose a question to all of you to start with, just to briefly sum up how you see sport as a catalyst, not only for physical excellence, but also for unlocking broader human potential. So Ralph, perhaps we'll start with you.
I thought you were going to go in there.
Oh, I know. I like to mix things up a bit.
I love it. I love it. So first, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. It's an honor to be here and be part of this conversation. I come to it with a background across tech, media, sport, but I also worked at Pearson Education, and I'm on the board of the American School in London. And so this intersection of sport and youth development is very important to me. And I look at sport as a powerful platform for human development. I think it builds character, it encourages creativity, and it actually creates community. I grew up in New York. By the way, I live in London. I have not picked up the posh British accent. But I grew up in New York, in the Bronx in the 70s.
Wow.
And we used to have a phrase about being book smart. And over the last day and a half, a tremendous amount of focus on education, skills, and the impact of AI in terms of adapting to that. The corollary to being book smart was being streetwise. And to be streetwise meant dealing with the world as it is, the reality, sometimes hard reality. And you didn't learn how to be street smart in the classroom. You learned how to be street smart in the playground playing basketball, where you had to bounce back after a loss. You had to adapt to playing with different people, sometimes in different neighborhoods, and taking on different roles. And you learned that in order to win, you had to have not the best player or be the best player, you needed to have the best team. And so I think all of those things are the things that layer on top of the knowledge to give you what you need to succeed.
I see you nodding away fervently there, Hamad. It sounds like you certainly agree with what Ralph was saying.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having us. It's great to be here, and I firmly agree with what he said, because I believe sports is an enabler for many. We hear it even in meetings in different sectors. We talk about winning, we talk about success, we talk about teamwork. All of these attributes are things that you see in a sports environment. So sports is, of course, in of itself a great sophisticated sector with many opportunities, but it's also a very key enabler for the success of other sectors.
And where do you stand on that, Athena?
Yes, I totally agree with the previous speakers. I would like to thank you, first of all, for being here at the conference and at the panel. I see the tremendous power of sports, actually. It's not only physical activity, of course. It goes far beyond that. It's promoting mind, the mental health, well-being, creativity. It's promoting life skills, actually, and this is combined so much with education, and there is a lot of common ground there, since sports can easily be used as a tool in education, because our aims and objectives are common: to have resilient people, to have powerful education and informed youth in our countries. So later on, we can explain how education can help in all this.
Absolutely. Now, Hamad, I'm going to out you here because you told me only a few minutes ago that you're only 34 years old. My goodness me, how impressive that you've been able to achieve so much in just 34 years, because you've worked at the intersection of sports, national strategy, and government. So talk to us about what happens when those sectors collaborate as well as they possibly can.
Well, let me address the first part of the question, because in the last 10 years, we've been an unprecedented journey, a journey that is like no other, a journey that I don't see anywhere else in the world. So the exposure that we've had to many opportunities, many challenges, and the scale of the ambition and the opportunity and enablement we've been given is a recipe that makes any 34-year-old in Saudi Arabia one that is ready for the challenges of the workplace. I'm honored to have been given the opportunity to represent my country in the World Cup bid, and the opportunities for men and women in many different areas, both junior and senior, are opportunities that we are living in Saudi Arabia today. So it is truly phenomenal. And let me link this back to the core of the vision, because when the Vision 2030 was launched in late 2016, there were three primary objectives: economic diversification, social development, and they're pretty clear what they aim to achieve. The third one was titled Ambitious Nation. And for this one, I must admit, at the time, I always wondered, what does this mean, and how does this enable the young people? And we see it and how it was implied in sports. Since the launch of the vision, we knew we needed to create opportunity for both men, women, juniors, seniors, in every space. We knew that there were challenges, and we had to overcome their challenges. We had to identify the opportunities. We had to set very ambitious targets, and we needed to achieve fast, because we needed to make up for lost time. And in sports, we've done this by many avenues. I would like to talk about event hosting as a major space that I've been involved in. And we hosted many events from 2016. Over 100 global sporting events have been hosted in Saudi Arabia since then. And what they've done is create opportunity across the board. One of the things that they have done is also inspire people. When we started to host Rally Dakar back many years ago, people questioned, why would we want to do that? E1 is another example. 4 or 5 years on from hosting the first event, both international sporting events have Saudi winners. The winner of the Rally Dakar is a Saudi gentleman. The winner of the E1 is a Saudi female. And those are international events. So the power and the enablement that has been created is phenomenal. But you don't need to win international global events to see the power of sports, because the power of sports is also in communities, as he mentioned. When we started in our football development story, we knew that we needed to unlock our women's team. There were people that played football in the women's sector or segment, but we didn't really have any organized football teams or football events or efforts. And when we started to scout to create the first Saudi women's team, we found a group of girls that used to play in their back garden, never in an 11-a-side pitch. And 2 of those girls were in orphanages. And when we started to organize the first events, they made the Saudi national team. And the first ever Saudi national team goal in the women's team was scored by one of those girls from the orphanage.
That's incredible.
The Vision 2030 is creating opportunities for girls like Al-Bandari, who came out of that orphanage many years ago, probably had limited opportunity. But because of the vision, because of the enablement, because of sport, she has written her name in history, and it will forever be there. So the opportunities are endless, and what we've seen in Saudi is nothing short of unprecedented.
You know, Ralph, what Hamad is saying there is, you know, and I think we all agree, that the accomplishments of Saudi Arabia, especially in the last 10 years, have been nothing short of utterly exemplary. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed seeing is how emerging tech and AI is being developed here and the attention that it's getting. How has technology reshaped, do you think, our understanding of human capability?
Oh, well, I look at it from a couple of different dimensions. I think in sport, there's the notion of performance, but then progression. And the best way to analyze that is set a baseline, track the critical indicators, and then see how different activities impact those indicators. That pattern sounds very familiar because that's the same pattern in education, right? Or how do teams work together and look at the film, right? In the NBA, every team after a win or loss, they're looking at the film. And these are superstar athletes, but yet every single day they're looking at film at how they get better. And there's another type of team that has film and looks to get better, surgical teams. So in robotic surgery, they're capturing all of the video. Mm-hmm. And there's a surgical team. It's not just the surgeon, but there's the team. And so now, getting that data, being able to analyze that video, and having AI bring that together and identify areas that can be improved, things that could be done faster. All of these things are about how do you maximize performance. Obviously, Formula One is another one. If you can just get one more second out of that, then that's the difference. And how do you do that? You use data, you use algorithms to understand how you can progress.
Perhaps, Ralph, maybe you move your mic a little bit down because you want to be able to hear every single word that you say properly. Athena, we will, we think of sport as something that's uplifting, that unifies everybody globally. Mm-hmm. But when you look at it sort of microscopically, actually, not everybody has equal access to that. What barriers do you think are still there preventing young people, from, particularly those from underrepresented communities, from really accessing their full potential when it comes to sport?
Yeah, that's true, and the research implies that there are still barriers and obstacles, and that's why our policies and strategies need to make sure that we overcome these barriers, that we have inclusive and open strategies, and of course, going down to the practical issue, have programs open for all, making ways for everyone despite their problems or challenges. And that's why education can make the difference, because education is for all, for everyone, and we can introduce everyone into sports by investing on infrastructure in the school, by giving opportunities to everyone. Actually, I could refer to a program we have, Sports for All, and their age is not a problem, gender is not a problem, and we can see, evaluating it throughout the years, how important it is for everyone to have access to sports. And then we can use it in education, actually, because the values are there, the skills that we cultivate are common. We need strength, we need people that do not give up, we need them to have ambitions, we need students as well to go for their dreams without letting anything or anyone getting in their way. And of course, we need resilience. I will keep referring to this. And this is perfectly cultivated within sports. So we have this combination and policies that we need to build. Of course, I should mention collaboration on a national and international basis. Good practices are there. We should share this. And coming here, it's a perfect environment to have this collaboration. I already had communication with various people, and we will keep communicating in order to bring good practices in our countries and let people experience this sports activity.
As they say, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah. And we are almost at the end of our time, which I'm very upset about. But Ahmad, let me give you the last word. Because here at HCI, we talk about going beyond readiness, which is, equipping people not just to survive the future, but to actually lead it. If there's one principle from sport in particular that you wish every leader or educator embraced, what would it be?
Oh, it's a great question. I think it's very important for you to be aware of where you are, where you need to be, what you need to do. And I think I'll pick up on Her Excellency's word of resilience, because there will be many challenges, and you need to face them, and you need to overcome them.
And that wraps us up perfectly. My goodness me, what an impressive panel, and thank you so much for being with us today. Weren't they fabulous?
Thank you. Thank you so much.